Hey YouTube, so today we're going to discuss Web3 influencers and with that Web3. Now we're going to discuss how these folks are going to be the jewel in the crown for influencer marketing going forward. Welcome back, and to everybody that is new to the channel, my name is Sam. I'm the founder of So Squared. We're a two-sided marketplace that we connect brands directly with influencers, provide them all the tools they need to succeed and create successful campaigns. If you like this video, give us a like. And if you want to continue to hear all the content that we're producing, hit subscribe and stay up to date. Before we talk about Web3 influencers, first we need to talk about what is Web3. So let's take a little trip down memory lane first to the age of the internet as it just started. We had Web 1. Now, Web 1 was basically a series of static or read-only pages. Now, as consumers, we went to these sites, consumed information, basically like an online encyclopedia. The era of Web 1 allowed website owners to share information to anybody at any time, anywhere. As users of Web 1, we were considered the consumer because we were consuming the information. Now, in the early days of Web 1, no money was even being generated by advertising. Now, let's fast forward to the internet as we know it now. This is Web 2. Web 2 allowed users, us, to contribute to content and engage with other users as opposed to just static read-only pages. Now, Web 2 didn't replace Web 1. They both coexist together. What Web 2 allowed was companies like Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter to completely catapult user-generated content into oblivion. Now, the biggest difference here between Web 2 and Web 1 is that companies started to get data from us instead of us getting data from them. This allowed these companies to build personas about us based on what we would like, comment on, interact with, and it allowed them to push content to us that would keep us more engaged and keep us on their platforms for longer. The longer we stayed on their platforms, the more money they made. Eventually, all the execs at Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, they realized they could bundle all that data together and they could sell that to marketeers. This is what we know as targeted advertising. And as most of us know, on a granular level, you can market your product to such a niche specific type of person, it's unbelievable. One of the main sacrifices of Web 2 was our privacy. Now, candidly speaking, we did give up this voluntarily to be part of really cool platforms like Instagram. What Instagram did from that information, like previously discussed, was they just took everything that we like and engage with. What have we liked? What have we commented on? Where have we spent all our time on their platform? And they continue to push content to us. So that means that me, you, and everybody else can be on the same platform, but see completely different content that's tailored to what we will enjoy. However, the ads that you see is the information you didn't know that you gave them. And finally, we come to Web3. Web3 is the idea of decentralization of the web, and typically what this will probably be built on is blockchain technology. Now, for the purpose of this video, I'm going to contextualize what I mean Web3 in the form of social media platforms and marketing. In Web 2, we, the consumers, were effectively the product. The content that we provided to the social media platform was stored on one of their servers. So effectively, they had full control over what did and what didn't get pushed. The theory behind Web3 is that you are the owner of your own content. So your content is going to be stored across multiple different servers, which means it's pretty much impossible for that content to be taken down. Now, I can see a lot of Instagram users getting pretty excited now, thinking about the times they had their content taken down for no explained reason. They got really pissed off with Instagram and they're thinking, fuck this, I want to join a platform where none of my stuff gets censored and I can just be free to express the way that I want to. Now, although there's no prominent Web3 social media platforms yet, in the spirit of decentralization and anti-censorship, what this will mean is that anybody from anywhere can post content to these platforms without it being taken down. The big risk here is that these content might become full of hateful and hurtful content because there's actually nobody regulating what goes on and what comes off. Web3 enthusiasts will tell you that this is the end of companies being run by centralized organizations like board of directors, CEOs, etc. They'll be run in the future by DAOs, and everybody in the community will have an opinion and a voice and be able to control the way that companies are run. In my opinion, Web3, what that means now in terms of the age of where we're at, is that effectively all we're going to really see is the ability to integrate blockchain wallets to purchase goods and services, and we'll see marketing tools like NFTs be used by brands globally. So what is a Web3 influencer? And I just want to stress here that there isn't a defined definition of Web3 influencer. This is my opinion, and this is what we at So Squared are classifying as a Web3 influencer. First, let's just take a look at the Web2 influencer. Now, this is something that all of you are very familiar with. This is the person that promotes across social media platforms such as Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, whichever one it is. They produce engaging content, or maybe some of them not so engaging content, in the form of pictures, videos, reels, stories, Twitter, a bit of dialogue. But these guys all promote on a Web2 platform, promoting traditional products like consumer goods and services. This has pretty much been the norm with regards to kind of influencing on the web since 2014. Now, in 2018, this all kind of went a bit crazy. You see so many people enter the influencer marketing space. And actually last year, it was reported that the market cap on influencer marketing was around $14 billion globally. So how does a Web3 influencer differentiate themselves from a Web2 influencer? Currently, they're still producing content for those Web2 platforms like Instagram and TikTok, and they're still promoting the content in the same way with regards to, images, reels, and stories. The difference is the audience that the Web3 influencer has curated. The Web3 influencer has created an audience that actually understands blockchain products and has the ability and the knowledge to actually transact with them. So what makes this really interesting for me is that Web3 influencers build a credible brand by being well educated in their market. Now, no disrespect to traditional social media influencers in Web2, but we often see them promote, say, beauty or health supplements, and they actually don't have the knowledge behind that product to effectively or authentically promote it. Let me just put a caveat over that. This isn't always the case. We do a lot of time see that experts in their field with the right knowledge and the right training, whatever that might be, whether it's sports, health, fitness, even fashion, proper fashion influencers. They become a trusted voice to their audience, and these are the guys that the brands really want to work with. These are the creators that really drive those returns and help sell products. On the other hand as well, the same can be said for Web3 influencers. You get a lot of creators that say, oh yeah, I can promote your NFT project, when in reality, they're just chatting blockchain bollocks. So back to the value that Web3 influencers provide. And I'm going to give you a use case here. So we've got blue chip companies that want to enter the Web3 marketing space, and they're launching NFTs to engage with their consumers. You've got luxury fashion houses like Louis Vuitton and Gucci, and then fast fashion giants like Boohoo Man, all creating their own range. The problem is the traditional influencers these guys would use to promote their standard products, their audience isn't familiar and they're probably uncomfortable with transacting in the blockchain world. So let's actually break this down on how you purchase an NFT to give some context. So to purchase an NFT, the first thing you need to do is create an exchange account. This is where you'll buy your cryptocurrency. You then transfer fiat money from your bank, whether this is dollars or pounds, and then you will buy a cryptocurrency, say like Ethereum, Polkadot, or Solana. The cryptocurrency that you buy will depend on what network the NFT has been built on that you're trying to purchase. The next thing you'll need to do is set up a blockchain wallet like MetaMask or Phantom, you'll need to also install this your Chrome browser or wherever you're kind of purchasing the NFTs from. You need to transfer from your exchange account into your wallet, and then that wallet can then be used to purchase the NFT. There are typically two ways to purchase an NFT. You can purchase them on public marketplaces like OpenSea or Magic Eden, or you can kind of mint them directly from the company or brand, whatever it may be, directly from their website. Both require you to connect your wallets to that specific website. On a public marketplace, you'll also need to create an account as well. Basically, there's a load of steps here. And what you need to remember is as well, the regulations around blockchain technology and crypto means that if you're transferring money from one place to another and you make a little bit of a slip or, you fuck up a bit, that money's gone. Nobody's coming back for that. You ain't getting it back. So you can see why people aren't exactly comfortable. You've also got to remember that every time you transact in the crypto world, you're pretty much paying small fees all the time. And sometimes they can actually be really large fees when you like on the Ethereum network and you're paying gas fees. They can, you can sometimes buy an NFT for $50 and end up paying $200 in gas fees. It's fucking nuts. I don't need to tell you that the traditional audience of these kind of social media influencers are going to be pretty reluctant to buy an NFT. There's just too many hurdles to overcome. Now, they will have some audience that are familiar with them, but the large majority of the people that follow these traditional social media influencers won't be familiar with the technology, and it's just too much to ask for them to purchase one of these NFTs. So this is where web3 influencers come into play and why they're so valuable to brands. Ultimately, it's going to come down to conversion rate. Brands want to sell a product. To sell that product, they need to position it to an audience that not only wants to buy it, but also has the facility to buy that. Now, I'm not just talking in a monetary value, has the capability to purchase a product, but actually has the knowledge and the know-how of how to actually acquire that product. A good Web3 influencer is super well educated within their space. That means that their audience, well, at least a good chunk of their audience, trust their opinion and they are a voice in the community. They add a lot of value to the conversation, and that means that their audience understands what they're talking about. Therefore, the brands working with these Web3 influencers know that when they promote a product, there's a likely chance of a good conversion rate. At the moment, Twitter is the most common place for Web3 influencers to engage with their followers. I would probably say this is down to the fact that it's more dialogue driven as opposed to visual, like something like Instagram or TikTok. Now, this being said, I do think this is all going to change and it's going to encompass that visual and dialogue element together. I think what we're going to see is we're going to see the top creators in the Web2 world educating themselves on blockchain technology and really getting stuck into this space. What they'll then do in turn is they'll start to acquire new following of people who are familiar with the tech, and that means that they're more valuable to brands. As the general population evolves and we become more familiar with the technology, it means their existing following base will start to convert into this Web3 world. These influencers will rise to the top and they'll become the desired talent when brands are looking to promote products in both a Web2 and in Web3 marketing strategies. At So Squared, we're actually building tools to help influencers in the Web2 world educate themselves in the Web3 world, and also helping brands transition and bridge that gap from Web2 to Web3 marketing. If you want to have a chat about how we can help you, please drop us an email at info@sosquared.com and one of the team will get back to you. Thanks for listening, guys. Catch you next time.